I know.
face to
Not
face.
well,
on the
no.
studio.
In this studio,
This
yes.
studio, yes.
But I mean, we've engaged before while we
Yeah,
were at
yeah,
Meridian
well,
House.
it's true,
That
it's
was
true.
Start Today. Now this is
Yeah,
Morning
that
Star.
is so.
So
That is
there's
so,
a
that is
difference,
so.
yeah.
Yes, the Kumsasi goddess is back.
Absolutely.
With so much energy.
I know.
So much charm. And the way Sifon was studio have.
Why they are
Yeah, the way you step down for the studio.
Today we're giving them back to back.
I know,
best
right?
conversations, best education.
And I know how
because
you
we're
always
simply
do
the
it.
best.
You always do it. I know how you always do it.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
But Mutala, what happened to Pastor Love?
Oh,
Charlie.
Lily, you know the laws of Ghana, until you come into contact with or you have issues with the law, you won't know how it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a case, but you will not be, you might think that you have done nothing wrong, or the case is a very minor case, and so you wouldn't pay so much attention to that. In relation to Pastor Love, this case started 7 years ago, sometime 2016. That was when this vehicle matter all started. A businessman in the United States, he wanted to sell a car. He brought Toyota Highlander 2013 model. And so Pastor Love was supposed to sell the car. He said that he obtained some loan facility to ensure that the car is cleared from the port and have everything sorted. At one point in time, in fact, the businessman indicated that once you are able to clear the car, you sell it at $50,000 so that you can take out your expenses and other monetary things that you have committed, and then by so doing, he will also get his money. At some point in time, there was some difficulty along the way, and so he made the point that, okay, hold on, I am coming down to Ghana. When I come down, we'll sort out the whole thing. The man came to Ghana and realized that the vehicle cannot be traced. There's no money also available for him by way of the vehicle being sold. The matter was reported to the police. Pastor Love was arrested. In fact, when the police invite you and then they arrest you eventually. And then he was charged. He appeared before a court. The circuit court cleared him at one point in time. The case was relisted again. He went to another circuit court. And then 7 years down the line, judgment has come. And the court found him guilty for stealing. In fact,
7
yes,
years. So
absolutely 7
the
years.
wheels of justice, they say, grind slowly.
So 7 years, people will be wondering why now, because the case will go forth and back. But of course, yesterday, by way of mitigation factors, Pastor Love had indicated that he's a first-time offender and then prayed the court to deal leniently with him. But the court presided over by His Honor Mr. Isaac Ado was of the considered view that yes, Mr. Love is or Pastor Love is a first-time offender. But of course, as a pastor, you have to show, absolutely, you have to show that particular standard for your church members who are following you, integrity, and of course, how people can live well. So the court is handing now a 48-month custodial sentence, that is 4 years, right, to Pastor Love. And he has to do this, he has to serve the punishment in hard labor. That is not easy. So Pastor Love,
I wonder how his church members are.
Yes. In fact, you know, situations like, because it's a very long time, you wouldn't, initially people will start following the case, and then at some point in time you notice that everything dies down, and until the day that they hear that you are in trouble, that is where you notice that the whole church premises and all that will be having a conversation on this. So the church members, it is sad news for them. But what it is now that it is that the law is saying that Pastor Love is found culpable. He has infracted the laws of Ghana by way of stealing, and so he should go into prison, incarceration, for the next 4 years. Wow. And in the court terms, 4 years is different from 48th month.
Really?
Yes.
How so?
So when you are dealing with years, it means that
then it travels the 12 months.
12 months, but it is at a reduced point. So 1 year in court in prison custody is about 9 months and some few days or weeks.
I'm sure those who founded this were of the view that that's the beginning of life. Every 9 months a child is born.
Absolutely. You go in for that month. But when you say 48th month, it means that you have to serve each of the month. So that is 4 years exactly. So it's different from 4 years. When the court says 4 years, it is different from 48 months.
Okay.
The implications are different. So
Okay.
4 years means that there will be some reductions in there.
Okay.
But 48 months,
It means that you're serving the full home.
I tell you.
Hey,
so
Charlie.
it is a very, very, very big one for Pastor
Can he
Love.
appeal this?
Oh, definitely he can appeal against the judgment of the circuit court at the high court. So that window is there. But as to whether you succeed, sometimes I remember there was a case that some accused persons were handed a 10 years jail terms for robbery, and then they said that the incident that they engaged themselves in is a minor thing, so they are appealing against that 10 years custodial sentence. Then they came to the high court. That's when it has to do with criminal offenses, you go to the high court. From the circuit court, you go to the high court. But civil matters, right from the circuit court, you go to the court of appeal. So there are differences in there.
Yeah.
So they decided to go to the high court to go and appeal against the 10-year custodial sentence. They got there, and the judge said, look, the circuit court judge erred in applying the law rightly. So the 10 years given you was even wrong.
Hey.
The minimum should have been 15 years. So I'm correcting that. And the judge corrected that particular judge. So from 10 years...
Color TV, I got you black and white.
From 10 years, it moved to 15 years. That's the minimum punishment. So you have to really go through the decision of the court before you advise yourself that I want to go
appeal
against that decision. But of course, for the charge of stealing, the minimum is 5 years. So if the court decides to give you that particular 48th month, he will have to deal with. But I'm sure that he will have something to say if he consider appealing that decision. So Pastor Love, for now, he have to serve the next 48 months.
Like our compatriots in their Kan language, you see,
and in Ghana here, once you are sentenced to go to prison, the one place is in mind, that is in Salon.
Yeah.
But you'll be shocked to know that from the court, after the police, wherever they will take Pastor Love will not even be in Salon.
Okay.
You know, the prisons are scattered all over. They look at the place that is where there's a space, and in Salon has become like the center. So when you go there, then they distribute to the other prisons. Yes. So you go there, they take you to someone, then they realize that okay, there's a place in Ankafo. Then they will take Atayi and all of them. We know that they will be in someone, but some of them are in Ankafo, some of them are all over. So they scattered.
But it's quite sad.
It's very, very sad. In fact, one thing that I always say that even your enemy, don't wish your enemy will have a court case that will eventually land the person in situation. Even the process going through, look at these protesters. Look at what they are going through. So if eventually becomes that they are innocent, you get the point. So the laws of Ghana, you won't see it working until you find yourself involved in these whole acts. But of course, it's not easy. But you have to deal with it because the laws are clear that when you steal something, you have to face it. So, Pastor Lau, he pleaded not guilty, but after full trial, the court found that he was guilty. Yes.
Quite sad. Let's talk about the Democracy Hub detainees.
Yes.
What's the update on
So we know that they will have to come back to court sometime on Tuesday. The lawyers have made a point that they want to file a repeat bail application at the High Court after the Circuit Court refused granting them bail and had detained them. And so yesterday they started the process to have the bail application filed at the High Court, but they couldn't complete the process. So hopefully this morning they are expected to do that, and hopefully they will get they'll get a time that they will have to appear before the High Court to move the application. So as and when that happens, we'll update our listeners on all that is happening in relation to this Democracy Hub protested. But what is clear is that the lawyers say they are filing a bail application at the High Court, and they have started doing that in relation to this whole matter.
GSAG is still 50?
Yes, the GSAG at 50th anniversary is still, we are still giving you all the talking points, the things that have been happening in relation to what has been happening, people who spoke at that particular conference, kind of things that they have been saying. One person who also spoke is Professor Samuel Athu Duncan, and guess who he is? President of General of the Center of Awareness Global Peace Mission. Many people know that KOA FC.
Yeah.
That is the man in charge of KOA FC. Yeah, he was the
KOA
chairman.
FS.
KOA FS. Absolutely, you are right. KOA FS.
Yeah.
He was the chairman of the JUSAC at 50th anniversary, and
Oh.
he's been advising the judiciary on elections, the kind of things that they have to do to retain the trust of the people. So let's hear from Professor Samuel Ato Duncan. Hey.
Democratic processes. It is during such moments that the judiciary must stand as a beacon of impartiality and integrity, servicing as the ultimate protector of our constitutional rights. When people believe in the fairness of the courts, they are more likely to accept the outcome of disputes, whether political or civil. And this acceptance is a foundation. Without trust in the judiciary, our society risks descending into division and unrest. However, this trust is not automatic. It is earned through consistent fairness, transparency, and a commitment to justice. Without justice, there can be no peace.
So that's Professor Samuel Ato Duncan.
Absolutely. President General of the Center of Awareness, Global Peace and Mission. And so clearly is admonishing the judiciary to ensure that even trust is earned by the consistent nature at which you come out of fair decisions and you adjudicate cases in relation to that. But of course, so that is what he's saying in relation to election by way of this very ceremony. And one of the things that also happened is that Attorney General has also been speaking. You notice that one of the things that has been happening within the justice delivery system, their condition of service, once a while when the things are happening, you see people raising concerns, the service raising concerns. The Attorney General said government has been listening to the concerns of JUSAC, and let's hear what Vincent.
I'll hold you there shortly, and then I'll come to you, Murtala. But let's speak to a convener of concerned citizens who intend embarking on a demonstration tomorrow, which is geared towards the release of the Democracy Hub detainees. We were talking about that a while ago, Murtala. He is Kamri Tego. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing well. I trust you well.
Yes, by grace, we are doing good. And good morning to everybody listening to us as well.
Right. Now, you say that you want to protest so that the detainees will be released. How far with your engagements with the police?
Okay, So it's the protest is not just about getting the detainees released, right? The main focus of the protest has to do with stopping Galamsey now, something which is possible once an order is given from above, right? And it's rather unfortunate that the first group of people who took to the streets to protest against Galamsey were arrested and unfortunately are on remand for 2 weeks. So the main focus of the demonstration has to do with stopping Galamsey now, and we are also looking to petition the AG to say that, look, our brothers and sisters who voiced out against Galamsey, who have been arrested, are being meted with harsh punishment, because we don't think you should be using remand as punishing them, right?
But
So
Kami, were you part of the first demonstration?
Yes, I was actually. I was, and by whatever grace, I want to call it by grace. I don't know, for lack of a better word, to say that I don't know how come I was not picked up. It seems every time they pick people up, I had sort of moved, and it's sad because I could easily have been part of those that were picked up just for speaking out against Galamsey, and it's very important that I don't let my voice die down or be closed-mouthed about the situation. I need to speak for my brothers and sisters who have been arrested for speaking out against Galamsey.
So, walk us through the experience while you were demonstrating when some of your colleagues were picked up. Walk us through. And you see, it's just by grace. Walk us through it.
Okay, so a typical example will be on the 22nd of September, right? The very first day of the demonstration went smoothly, the police didn't make any arrests. It was quiet, the day was over. But on the 22nd, in the afternoon, whilst demonstrators were trying to converge, because prior to that, the day before, they had informed the conveners of the demonstration and warned all protesters that, look, these are the areas that have been cordoned off, and so you are not supposed to come there. Rather, we've communicated to you an alternative route, which is from 37 towards the Elwak Stadium area. So the idea was to converge at the 37 lorry station, in front of the lorry station, where the arrest was actually made, right, and then make the walk towards Elwak. And when I say it's by grace, I was at the station having a conversation with Ama Governor and a couple of people, really. We were all standing together. But then there was a press conference at the Freedom Center, to which I said, you know what, let me quickly rush to the Freedom Center for the press conference, and then I come back and then join everybody else at 37. So it was when I had moved away from the from the 37 lorry station to the Freedom Center was when the arrests were effected, and all they were doing was literally standing around waiting for other protesters to join them so that they can make the move. I was at the Freedom Center when one guy got on a motorcycle and he quickly came to say, look, everybody who was at the lorry station have been picked up by the police. And by the time I rushed back to 37, I don't know where they had taken them to. We couldn't find them. I could see no one there.
Now, there are reports of excesses. Would you agree? On the part of protesters.
Listen, what I can tell you is this. The issue that was being protested, right, is what is most important. Now, assuming, let us even admit that there was. The question is the punishment or the treatment being meted out to them actually fair? Does it not infringe upon their rights? And the police themselves have come out to say, when they after they arrested people for 48 hours, no water, no food, they literally came out to say, look, we are dealing with the police officers who did this particular thing to the protesters. Protests sometimes can get awry, and it's important that we focus on the main issue, because I don't think that whatever that these protesters did, I don't want to commit myself by saying they did something that much wrong, because
So you agree they did something wrong, but you're saying not that
No,
much
I'm
wrong.
not agreeing. That's the thing. It's not a matter of much wrong. I'm saying that I don't see exactly what it is that they are claiming they did wrong. Because look, if I was not there, I would not know what I am talking about. But I was there. These people were literally standing on the second day, is what I'm talking about. People were literally standing, waiting so that they make a match. And if you've seen the videos, you would realize that the police came from the left, from the right, and then they picked these people up. All they were doing was standing. And the videos are there. I know I've seen the video from City. Even I have the video myself. Right? So I don't know what offense they are charging them with.
But Kamri,
Yes.
so I only want to say they because you're part of the group. You blocked access to a major referral facility, 37 military hospitals.
You see, when this is said, I always ask, the night before the main protest was when the police themselves issued a press statement saying they are blocking off access to the hospital, that particular hospital road. Look, if you know the layout of 37 and you look at the runabout, they blocked the main entrance. But mind you, 37 has two entrances. Okay,
yes, that I know.
The one that comes from Kaukudi, right? If you are coming from the Kaukudi traffic light, the Hila Liman Highway, right, towards, as if you are heading towards Airwalk. And then there's the one that comes from Legon all the way through towards the Jubilee House. Okay, they blocked the one right after the runabout towards the Jubilee House. But the one from Kaukudi was never blocked. So I don't see how come people are given misinformation to say that the hospital entrance was blocked. And in any case, the police actually made sure that whatever emergency services and whatever emergency cars that needed way into the hospital, they themselves opened up the route. They opened up the cordon, the barricade they put up out there. They opened it up. So I don't see where people are putting out misinformation to say that protesters blocked the route to the hospital. You know? And it's sad when people make certain statements that are not true just to make it seem as if something terrible happened on that day. It didn't happen. That I can tell you on authority that none of the protesters blocked any entrance to the hospital.
Now, when your colleagues were arrested, I'm not sure it was surprising to you, which is synonymous of protest, but the remand for 2 weeks, did that come to you as a surprise?
It's more than a surprise. See, I keep using three main words, right? I keep saying it is ridiculous, it is preposterous, and absolutely outrageous. These were the words I used. Because, look, what were their crimes? Or what at all is it that they did wrong? I keep saying, what is the core of the message? For saying that, stop Galamsey, something that is affecting you, me, and future generations to come. For that, you are, throwing them into jail cells, into prison for 2 weeks before you call their case. Look at the case of Benjamin, the guy who was not at the protest, nowhere near it. All he did was buy papaya to go give to people who were arrested, and even he was picked up. Right? So in that particular case, what was his offense as well? You understand me? Clearly, if you ask me, something is going on somewhere. Somebody is not telling us exactly what it is that they intend to achieve with these arrests. And I am being careful not to talk about it because, of course, the issue is in court now. All I can do is protest and make my voice heard, petition the AG, which we intend to do tomorrow on the first day, is to petition the AG's office to say, look, what is wrong is wrong. The remand, the process within which you are dragging these protesters through is absolutely wrong, and you should release them. That's it.
Have you been able to come to an agreement with the police on the route for this your protest?
Yes, I should say that the police have been generous enough. We had a conversation with them. They were great. The reception was great. We had a conversation. They drove us to our intended route. They drove us through the intended route so that they are equally aware of where we will be passing during the protest. So, yes, we spoke to them. It's good. It's successful. They've agreed. So we know tomorrow we are kicking off at 6 a.m.
Okay. On the issue of Galamsey, what exactly do you want done?
Listen, I am so happy that you asked this question. So the first thing I said, and I was lucky enough to be on on a different platform, on Metro, when I said that the first thing we should do is literally stop all mining at least for a year, right? Because the land needs to recuperate. From my point of view, mining needs to be stopped immediately. People who have been given licenses, we need to now recall and find out exactly what they are, because we are in this country and we've heard people who have licenses to mine a certain area but have gone past their concession. Also, I had pleaded, and thank God organized labor listened, and I'm taking that credit for myself, I won't lie, because I also said that, look, if the only way for our voices to be heard is if organized labor organize a nationwide strike, and they've put out a statement to say they are doing so on the 10th of October. We want Galamsey to stop, and an order from the government will make it happen. Review all licenses that have been given it. Now go onto the ground to regulate it, and most importantly, teach people exactly how to do it. Because, listen, Ghana has been mining for as long as I was born, way before I was born. Ghana is not, we were literally called the Gold Coast, right? So we've been mining for as long as forever, and yet it is only within this short particular time that we see how devastating mining has become to the lands, to the waters, 16 rivers, all of them totally polluted. And it's not just affecting the drinking waters, it's not just affecting the land, but the food we consume, because these waters is basically what is used in irrigating the food that we eat. And these foods, unfortunately or fortunately, are found in the regions that this Galamsey is going on, and it's all sent into Accra. You can't sit in Accra and presume that, it does not affect it. And fun fact, I literally found out yesterday that I think it's the river Dainty that flows towards into the Wega Basin to connect to the sea, and we are drawing water from it. So actually, Accra has already started seeing the effects of it, and we've seen videos of the woman who was using alum to try and clear the surface of the water just before she uses it in mixing acheke. And this goes into our system. Children are being born with deformities. People are ill, kidney problems, untold medical issues that this problem is causing. And our story is we are hitting the streets to say, stop Galamsey now and free the citizens.
Now, you say one of your biggest demands is stop mining immediately. Mining as in, are you talking about Galamsey or small scale mining?
We are talking about Galamsey. And personally, even for some small scale miners, because like I said, some small scale miners have the license to do so, right? And for them, it's not a matter of just stopping them from mining. It's putting them on some sort of a fallow period whilst we retrain them on how to do it appropriately. Galamsey in itself is illegal mining. Literally, that is the definition of Galamsey. And the illegal mining is going on. So, and some people are literally using small-scale mining as an excuse to do Galamsey. And I'm saying that a lot of licenses have been issued. Just within, a period of 4 or 8 years, over 1,500 licenses. How is it being regulated? That is the question. How is it being regulated? How are we following up to see that are these people even mining in the concessions that they've been given, right? And we've heard the reports, we've seen the stories of people who have been given concessions and are mining beyond their concessions into forest reserves and all. So all we are saying is, please stop it now. Give the order, let it stop. I gave the example to say that, look, the over 2,800 policemen that were sicked on the protesters, the previous one, right? If all those men were sent out into all these Galamsey sites, I'm not sure we'll be having this conversation by now. I'm sure by now we'll be talking about something else.
Now, you say that you are happy about the decision of organized labor to strike. Beyond this particular laying down of truths, what else do you expect from labor?
Listen, we expect Labour to keep pushing. We don't want them to call back call off their strike until government actually does something about it. And I know in the interim where the strike has been called, it's going to affect a lot of people. But I feel once you start feeling it, that is when you now start listening to the issues that are being raised. And if that doesn't help, look, I have said that we'll continue to use any legal means necessary, and emphasis on legal means necessary. So protests, petitions, calling on people to strike until something is done about it. And that is it for us.
What are you expecting tomorrow in terms of numbers?
So tomorrow, I want to see, if possible, the entire population of Ghana grouping up at Okonglo. I'm sure the stretch can take it. Look, so far we are expecting to see a little over 3,000 people, but we want to call on every Ghanaian. This has nothing to do with parties. This has nothing to do with group. This is not a student protest. This is not a child's play. This is not one of those come and make noise and dance and then we forget about the issues. We are saying that this is a serious issue, and if we don't speak, because what are the avenues available for us to make our voices heard, to make the government hear our grievances, right? So we are saying once you are a Ghanaian, you don't necessarily need to wait for it to affect you. We are saying come out and let the government know that this is the issue at hand. For people who might not have heard of what is going on, come out and you would still be educated on the exact issue, because some people are very, very oblivious as to what is happening because of wherever corner that they find themselves in. But this is a clarion call to every well-meaning Ghanaian that come out and let's stop Galamsey now.
Kami, would you be surprised if people don't turn up in their numbers, looking at what was handed down some of your colleagues in the previous protest?
I will be very much surprised, because then it means that it will look as if Ghanaians are being bullied and gagged by the state, and I don't think that is the issue. I do not believe that is the issue, that we are being gagged by the police and we are being gagged by the state not to speak against ill doings that is going on. Rather, as Ghanaians, we enjoy certain rights and freedoms. And this discussion we had with the police when we submitted our notification and then had the conversation with them. Look, the Public Order Act has made it clear that this is the responsibility of organizers and of Ghanaians, and that is their responsibility. So why not? If I am going to exercise my constitutional right as a Ghanaian, I will be shocked if Ghanaians don't come out and speak to power exactly what is happening. Very shocked.
Do you know if members of Democracy Hub, I mean those who have not been arrested, will join your protest tomorrow?
Listen, like I said, it's not a group thing. It's a Ghanaian thing. So I am very sure they will join in their capacity as Ghanaians, as individuals, because we are doing well not to make it, give out a tag to say that this group of people are the ones that are angry. No, it's not a group of people that are angry. Ghanaians are angry. And if you are not angry enough, come and let us tell you the reason why you should be angry as a Ghanaian. So I'm expecting everybody. I'm not expecting any group. Rather, I'm expecting everybody to pull up.
Is this a collaboration with student groups from the various universities?
Student groups, so let me clarify this. Student groups had shown interest in coming as student groups. But like I said, we've had a discussion with them to let them know, look, we are not, because we do not want the issue to be marred by, and then we saw this particular student group A, B doing this, and then saw this particular student group C, D doing this particular thing. No. A group of all Ghanaians came together to go on a protest, and that is it.
You mentioned your starting point, which is Okonglo. Where is your termination point?
Okay, so yes, for the 3 days, each day, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we are starting at Okonglo. That is the converging point of 6 a.m. And then we do the march all the way through Association, right? We take the Association 10 onto the NSS Road. I think that's the Patrice Lumumba Street. all the way towards the Kalkudi Junction, use the Hilalaman Highway, the Kanda overpass towards the Electoral Commission runabout, then we turn down to the Ridge runabout, straight through the National Theatre area towards the Independence Square. So our termination point is around the Independence Square area.
Okay, all right. Camry, thank you very much. We'll do well and provide coverage for tomorrow.
One last thing, if I may. Not only are we calling everybody, but I want them to understand, on the first day we are petitioning the AG, on the second day we are petitioning the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources, on the third day we're petitioning Parliament, and for the third day we are having a vigil. So on the third day it's not just going to be a demonstration, the march and the procession, but when we terminate at the Independence Square area, we are going to set up giant screens, and then we would hold a vigil and show people the devastating effects of Galamsey.
Let me understand this. So it's a 3-day protest.
Yes, it's a 3-day protest from the 3rd to the 5th. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So you're starting tomorrow. You're ending on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Camry. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity as well.
You're welcome. So that's Camry Tego. He is a convener concerned citizens who intend embarking on a demonstration which begins tomorrow, ending on Saturday. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the program, it looks like it will be a month of protests and strikes because there are a lot of things that Ghanaians want done immediately, and they will do anything. Not illegal though, anything to get their demands, to get everything, their concerns addressed. Ibrahim?
Yes, of course. Interesting conversation there, and I got some listeners sending messages relative to the seeming confusion between small-scale mining
and illegal
mining, otherwise known as Galamsey, right? And yes, many people have called for a total halt in mining activities.
That will bring that particular economy to a halt.
That is the warning from the sector players, right? That there are some who are doing legitimate mining and responsible mining. They have been given licenses. The Minerals Commission is aware of the activities. The Environmental Protection Agency are aware of the activities, right? And they are monitored. And so if there are concerns about their activities, then we'll have to call on the regulators to ensure that those who flout the details of their licenses will have their licenses withdrawn, right? Now, when you see people mining by the roadsides, like happens very often when you are going to Kumasi at a Ninem enclave, to your left and to your right, those people can never be small-scale miners. They are illegal miners.
Yeah.
They don't even have a concession. They have an arrangement with the owner of the land in the community, and they just go there and they mine. And usually they make use of that. There's a river body just closer to the Nyenam police station. You will see that water bears testimony to the devastation of the activities.
Did you say close to the Nyenam police station?
Oh yeah. In fact, the police people can just shout and say, "You people should stop," and they will stop. But they are not. And if you've been to Kumasi in recent time, or when you are on your way going, just pay attention. Immediately you get to Nyenam, to your left, to your right, the excavators are there, and there's a bridge there. Usually that's where they sell the bushmeat. You see the young people standing there holding dressed bushmeat. There's illegal mining taking place. It's been like that for a while now.
Now my worry is the water used to clean the bushmeat.
That's a legitimate concern. That's a legitimate concern. That is a legitimate concern. But of course, there's that difference, like I mentioned, between small-scale mining, which will require that you get a license, you get a concession. And I'm told that there's a bigger problem that we are not paying attention to. The large-scale mining companies, they go for their concessions. Because they might not have the resources to mine, they then decide to cut bits and pieces and give to the young people. And that's where they also engage in illegal mining. And so, if the regulators are paying attention, such mining companies will have their licenses revoked. Because you go for a license to mine as a mining company, a large-scale mining company, if you are unable to get the resources, go back to the regulator, the one who gave you the license, and let it be given to somebody else who has the capacity.
How long has Abu Jinapor been Minister for Lands and Natural Resources?
We can say close to 4 years, yes. Yeah.
And what is the extent of destruction?
That's it's gone up, to be honest with you. If you compare this to when we started seeing some successes relative to the fight, because there were successes. Oh, Brim became clean.
Yeah.
Densu became clean. Tra became clean. And there are pictures to that effect.
Yeah.
People went there to fetch the water, and to the naked eye, it was clean.
Yeah.
And then we decided to go to sleep. And now it's gotten worse. They tell you that the turbidity levels are at the peak. That we've never been to where we are relative to the turbidity levels of the water that is expected to be processed by Ghana Water Company for you and I in those enclaves. And we are warned that when it gets to a certain level, the water will be untreatable. So the water cannot be treated, right? So, yes, these actions are all geared towards getting action taken.
So I asked that because then why is he still opposed?
Oh, okay. Yes, they tell you that it's a process. It's not an event. And to probably to them, the end will justify the means. And the end should mean that before President Akufo-Addo leaves office, at least we'll go back to the success story of the fight, where at least the water.
How many days? How many?
Okay, so he will leave on January.
He will leave put in place.
Yeah, we did. We bought drones and what have you. Yeah, we did. We bought drones and then we put in place interministerial committee.
Exactly.
And that one was quite bigger than the one that is now headed by Kandapa, right? Yes, but now we're told that the fight has been decentralized. It's now been given to regional ministers and then the MMDCs, right?
But are the MMDCs not superintending over these lands already?
Exactly. So they had gone to sleep.
Did they need an additional power or additional powers?
Yes. You see, unfortunately, per what Alima Mahama told us, right, when she was the local government minister, some MMDCs were equally involved in Galamsey. And she mentioned it. Right. And the president had a reason to sack the Amansia West DC because he was neck deep. He was involved in Galamsey. The president sacked him, right, in Ashanti region. So it is no news that we are saying that some MMDCs in mining communities are equally complicit in this, right? But I think where we are, we can all draw a line in the sand and say that we've got into a very critical moment where something needs to be done, and that needs to be done immediately. See, nature is so forgiving that if we pull the brakes, the waters will be cleaner. Yeah. The trees will grow again. The only challenge we'll have is the cocoa.
But how long can nature be forgiven?
That's
Looking at the kind of chemicals we're using, how long can nature be forgiven?
That's a good question. But for instance, we can, also stop mining in the forest reserves, right? But that one is just has to take a pen. We just have to rescind, or government can suspend the implementation of the LI. Because Parliament passes laws, but the implementation is in the hands of the executive. Executive can say that we are pulling the brake, we are putting on hold this LI. So moving forward, no license will be given to anybody to go into forest and prospect or mine.
But you know when you're even allowed to prospect, it does not mean you can mine.
But the lines are blurred now down here. Prospecting to them will mean they should mine. Yeah.
And it's quite sad. I think for us as Ghanaians, when it was simply not angry enough. Yeah. And I like the fact that young people are taking up the charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is our future.
That's true.
How old is Akufo-Addo?
Yeah. That's true.
It's sad that we have come to this extent. It is sad that we wake up every morning and look at the level of destruction.
Yeah. It's true. And anyway, so there's good news here for you. So Stephen Odelabi, who's a colleague in Parliament, was listening and says, I'm listening to your program. The analysis apt. Kudos to you and the team. And then, of course, he's listening with his colleagues. So shout out to my colleagues, that's Theophilus Minta, who is equally doing the listening. So good morning, Theophilus. And then Esther Ahamaji. So Esther, good morning. And thanks for doing the listening. Yeah. You've now become part of the family of Morning Star. Absolutely.
Good morning to you, Esther, and good morning to you, Theophilus. We appreciate your listening. This is still Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM. You know that we're simply the best. I take a break here. When I come back, I have more good news for you. You know I'm the bearer of good news.